Hello, my name is Glennda Baker. I am a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is the Glennda Show. And today, I couldn't be more happy than to say I'm here with the Diamond Squad, Elizabeth Coates and Evelyn Olson, my business partners. Tiffany is not here today, and we're missing her, but she's got her own show, her special show coming, where we'll feature her. But today, it's Elizabeth and Evelyn and me, and we're going to talk a little bit about real estate. So, girls, what are we going to talk about today? Like, what is going on in real estate? I mean, it's like 2020. Like, it has been a roller coaster of a year. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I think we probably both have the same thing to say about it right now, and that's like when you've got a buyer, you better be ready to pull the trigger, because if you don't, you're not going to get the house.
What do I say? If you sleep on it, you may not sleep in it.
That's right.
And that's so true. How many times have we seen that? Evelyn, I know that you have a buyer that we've kind of been working with, and a house came on the market on Friday, and by Sunday they had 8 offers.
Yep, 8 offers.
They had 3 offers that had no contingencies.
Yep.
I mean, what are we doing?
Crazy. I mean, I showed a house today, and the house has right now 6 offers. It just came on the market last night, so they already have 6 offers. And so they're asking for highest and best tomorrow.
The good thing is that you are doing everything you can to get our buyers financing approved so that we can do 0 days financing.
Absolutely. So we're trying to get them pre-approved in advance. So they're already going through the underwriting process. So when I write the offer, I can put in the finance contingency 0 days.
And that's huge.
It's like
That
a
is
cash
huge.
offer.
It's like a cash offer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, Evelyn, I think that you are probably the master of like multiple offers, escalation clauses, like really like getting those accepted. What do you think is like your secret? Like what do you think has been like the recipe for success in that?
Well, first of all, I always like to call the agent and understand what's important to the seller, so I can work around it and also communicate with the buyer, prepare the buyer for the market, get them to understand most likely will be in a multiple offers, get them prepared, talk to the seller, seller's agent to understand what's the most important in the contract, and then also build a relationship with the agent as well. I think that's very important because typically the agents want a smooth transaction, right? Everybody wants to go to the closing table. And I think it's important for them to see that I see that as well as a buyer's agent.
Absolutely. And I think that the 3 of us would agree probably one of the biggest advantages that we have in our favor is that we're rolling through a lot of transactions. And as they always say, 20% of the agents sell 80% of the houses. So we cross paths with a lot of the same people all the time. They cross paths with us. So they know that if we bring a buyer, that transaction is going to make it to the closing table.
Yes, and typically I always try to see, if I might not know the listing agent, I ask one of you girls, and typically you do, and then you can call the listing agent as well, and then they already know, they're familiar with us. So I think that makes a difference.
Absolutely. I think that's huge. And we just had a transaction like that where we were in a multiple offer situation. I happened to know the listing agent. I picked up the phone and he's like, absolutely. I know that if you're involved, it's going to get to the closing table. And that's a huge advantage for our buyers.
Absolutely.
That is, so let's just stop right there and let's just say, holy cow, that's a huge point that we really want to make, is that literally, if you are working with a real estate agent, other agents knowing and being known in the community is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth, we've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, we've been doing this forever. Like, some days I feel like you and I mean, 20 years. You're 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm 28. Evelyn's 5. I swear it's like dog years. Like
It is like dog years.
I know.
I mean, we're like 100.
That's
Yeah.
because we sell so much in such a short period of time. So
Well, and and Evelyn, that's true. It's so true because who do you want to get on the plane with? The pilot that takes off and lands every day, all day, or the pilot that lands
Like
once a month?
yeah.
I want to get on the plane with the person who has the most proficiency. I think it's very similar in real estate. Would you agree with that,
I
Elizabeth?
definitely do. In fact, I used that analogy the other day to somebody.
Did you really?
With the airplane?
Yeah, the airplanes.
I think that's a Glenndaism.
I think it is, but it's great because it's true.
So true.
You know, I mean, do
true.
you want to work with the agent that sells 3 houses or the one that sells 30?
Well, I mean, but really,
Or even not even the number of houses so much, but you know,
it is the number of houses.
And that you're doing it full time.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, how many part-time agents? I mean, for God's sakes, there's thousands of real
Yeah.
estate agents in Atlanta. So, like, seriously, like, let's think through that. Like, do you really want to deal with a part-time agent? Because number one, are they proficient in their skill?
Yeah.
I mean, which house was it? Oh, I know. So we had a listing over on Spring Heights. We got 8 offers. One of the offers was the buyer's friend was the real estate agent. She was a commercial agent.
Was that the one I had to let in because she didn't even have a key to
She
get
did-
in? So I had to meet her and let her in?
So you met her. You let her in.
that one? Okay.
She
yeah.
didn't know how to scan.
She didn't know anything.
She did. She hand wrote the offer. Remember?
Yes, and she was asking me questions, and I'm like, you shouldn't be asking me this because I'm on the seller side.
Exactly. and I mean, and literally on a $220,000 house, she does $500 in earnest money. Like, who does $500 in earnest money?
In a multiple offer situation.
And a multiple offer, I mean, like, seriously, like, that's like real estate 101. And I think that that's one thing that, gosh, you know, I feel so fortunate, so blessed that we kind of have each other to like bounce everything off of. Like, we really lean on each other. Like, Evelyn will have a problem and she'll come in and say, okay, how would you guys handle this? You'll have something that comes up. And on top of that, we feed off each other's energy.
Absolutely. That's why I love coming into the office because
Yeah.
I definitely get more stuff done.
Yeah.
With all of you in there.
Well, and you know, it's kind of counterintuitive because you probably think like you're not going to get as much stuff done. But, and Elizabeth and I kind of talked about this a little bit, is that we know when we need to be quiet
That's
and
right.
and we know when we're like bouncing it off. And both of those scenarios feed the energy of the team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that as a team, we have such great chemistry. It's like we know what each other is thinking before they're thinking it. And it's so funny. I know that with Elizabeth, like I had saw Evelyn all weekend because Evelyn and I were showing houses to different people, and I hadn't seen you, and I sent you a little text message and I said I miss you. Remember? So I mean, it's because we see each other every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, we operate like a little family, like little sisters.
Right.
Like you're the oldest sister, obviously.
She doesn't like to hear that.
I don't think of it that way.
I do.
But yeah, but I am older than Glennda.
But
Yes.
you're the team leader.
But she's the leader, so she's like the mom, even though.
No, that is not right. Let's just go with I'm the leader.
The big sister.
Okay, I'll go with the big sister. I am not like the mom. Would
Okay,
you
not the
shut
mom,
up?
not the
I'm
mom,
gonna
not
slap
the mom,
you.
not the mom then. But you know, we have to ask you about stuff like, what do you think about this? Can we do this? What do you think?
But I don't
What's
feel
your-
like it's like we have to.
No.
It's like you
no.
look to me
Right.
for like leadership.
Right. Well, we know what Glennda would say. Let's
would
talk to
what would
Glennda.
Glennda say?
No, but we usually can figure out what you would say about
Most of
certain
the
things.
time.
Most
Really?
of the time.
Most of the
Like,
time.
I don't think Glenda's gonna like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We better
Because
not do that.
I mean, but that's the great thing about working together.
Yeah.
It's like that you know.
Yeah.
You kind of know what the other person's thinking. It's really it's like a marriage between us. So I love that part of it. So let's kind of talk a little bit about some transactions. What is the transaction where you learned the most?
You know, I had a transaction this spring, and I did learn a lot on that particular transaction. It had to do with doing a survey, and it had some encroachments going on, and I never had to deal with that before, with encroachments. And not just because it had encroachments. Typically, during the due diligence period, I try to work everything out besides the appraisal and finance contingency. But But there was another element, which was the survey, and I wasn't able to get everything done during the due diligence period, and I had to figure it out how I can get it resolved after the due diligence period. And really all we could do is extend the due diligence period, but also understand how critical it is to get it resolved, for my buyer, so they can feel comfortable when they take ownership of the house. So that was a new subject to me that I was learning this springtime.
Well, and we're always learning. I mean, I
Right.
feel
Yeah.
like with
Yeah.
every transaction, like we learn something. Like, and I think that maybe maybe that's an asset to our clients, is that we're never so bold that we think we know everything. Like, I feel like that we really focus on just continuing to learn, constant, never-ending improvement, and really focusing on the client and how we can help the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every transaction is different, and every transaction has these different components. I've got one right now that's complex because of, some emotions that are involved with the buyers and their different situations. And they were saying the other night, I know this might sound silly, and I'm like, no, it doesn't sound silly. It's what's important to you. So that's how we need to go about it. And that's just what I have to focus on and hope that it works out. But every single transaction has something new that we can talk about.
Yeah.
The one I just closed yesterday, a listing, I was a little bit nervous about it appraising because we went on kind of the high end for the neighborhood.
The highest
We did.
for that square footage.
And we both thought, I think, that somebody would negotiate a little bit and there'd
Yeah.
be some wiggle room. Well, this buyer wanted the house so badly, he didn't.
Right.
He didn't negotiate. They came in at full price and we were thrilled.
Right.
And our seller was thrilled.
Right. Praise the Lord and pass the money.
That's right. And when the appraisal was being done, I made sure to run all these comps and talk about all our flash and how great the neighborhood is, the new roof, this and that. But I was a little bit worried. It appraised for $1,000 over the price.
Yay.
Over the price.
That's so awesome.
So everybody was happy.
But meeting the appraiser, like going
met the
that,
appraiser.
I mean, I think that that's one thing that we do that a lot of agents don't do is go that extra step, go that extra mile. Like, really go further doing the research, really being able to put all of the pieces together. And I think, fortunately, because we operate as a team, we can sit here and say, okay, Elizabeth, maybe you need to do this.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, why don't we do it this way? And I think that that ability to bounce things off of each other, it just really, for our clients, it makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I think also, we're almost interchangeable. I think that's one thing that's kind of different about our team over most real estate teams, is that if I'm not available, Evelyn goes, or you go, or if you're not available, I go. And there's not anything that any of the three of us are not willing to do. So whether it's putting up signs or picking up signs and lock boxes and cakes and the grunt work, the work that's not so pretty, we're all doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are like, oh, well, is that the highest and best use of your time? And for me, the highest and best use of our time is doing whatever it takes to get the job done.
Right.
And I think that we share that mentality, and that's why the team operates so well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Somebody said to me, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, that, Glennda, you have this well-oiled machine. And the way that he said it, I wasn't exactly sure if it was a compliment, because was he talking about oh, it's a machine? And I said to him, I said, let's get something really, really clear. We have a well-oiled machine that has a system and a process that operates from a foundation of love. And that's really the crux of our business. And I mean, I think that probably kind of sums it all up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Is there anything that we could do better as a team, do you think?
I mean, we work so much. I mean,
I feel like we're always in meetings. I would say maybe have more time to sit down and talk together, but we do that all the time anyway. So that isn't.
What
even,
are you talking
I know,
about?
That isn't even realistic. We don't need team meetings.
I know.
That would be silly because every day is a team meeting.
Every day.
We sit in the office every day and talk.
And so that is enough. Right?
Yeah.
That really should close us out. because we don't need to have a weekly meeting,
Yeah.
because every day is a team meeting for us, because we're always huddled
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and we're always like just sharing.
Yeah.
So it's so awesome. So I have to say, I could not be more honored to be in business with you two. I'm so blessed.
Same here.
And I just really feel so blessed and so honored to be in business with amazing people and amazing women and just strong women. So thank you for doing business and doing life with me. And as I always say, I want to close out. My name is Glennda Baker. I am a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Diamond Squad with Elizabeth Coates and Evelyn Olson. And we would love the opportunity to talk real estate with you. So send us a text, tag us in a post, give us a call. That's what we love the most, because we love the opportunity to talk real estate with you today. See ya.